you've mentioned some interest in triathlon, and you're kind of like in this endurance space in the world with all of your custom gear that you're doing. Like she's done all of my custom gear for my company. And so tell me,
I feel like
coming from the back,
I'm like already feeling my body just like defensively like sitting
Getting
back. You
nervous.
mentioned like triathlon, I'm like,
so coming from the background as a swimmer, getting into triathlon, which I don't know if you are or not, but you've shown a little bit of interest in that. So tell me what
I like the idea
what are
of
like
it.
2 or 3 questions that you may have for me? Like what are some things that you just don't know about and you would value having a coach answer?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest. Like the reason why, you know, I've obviously like swimming, I'm not concerned about that portion of the triathlon.
Right.
But you know, running, I've done a half marathon before my kids. I'm not too concerned about that either because I feel like I'll be okay. Biking, I feel like uphill, downhill, like I'll figure it out. What I am concerned about is the time that I need to put in order to like really be decent and try, meaning like not like win or anything like that, but it's like also not die and you know like not have.
And if you think about it, like you're an Olympian, like you're a high level
Girl, that was
athlete.
10 years ago.
You were a high level athlete and you still think like a high level athlete.
Yes.
Like it's still in you. So if you're going to do something, you're not just going to want to do it to finish it. Like I know you personally, and I know like with my own mindset, I'm kind of the same way.
I think that's one of my biggest problems is that I know that if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to need to go all out.
Yeah. But it takes time.
It does take time.
Right?
And so as a business owner, I have 2 young kids at home.
Yeah.
Like I work, you know, 8-10 hours a day, really.
It's hard to turn it off.
Like how do I layer in, you know, like training on top of it? And, you know, like my kids are at the age where like they just don't sleep through the night. Yeah. So we could be waking up multiple times at night. And I know like people like wake up at 5 or 4 and they start working out. Like I cannot do that and then function like all day properly when I haven't really had a good night's sleep. Yeah. Like I just can't.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. So my answer for that, I'll kind of make it a little bit short here. So it depends on the distance. So someone training for their first sprint triathlon, very different training plan than someone training for a full Ironman distance. Now, in your case, since you are a swimmer, we don't have to spend the time going to the pool and be so consistent. You do need to get in. Actually, I would prefer you to sign up for some open water swim practices, and that way you can actually get your swim stroke out in the open water and maybe practice with a wetsuit if you need to. So those would be the things that we would focus your time when you do have that time and energy towards on the swim part. But then also the cycling component, one thing that saves a lot of time and a headache is actually having an indoor trainer. So having a smart trainer, something that you can set up to be inside your home, like mine is up in our playroom, because then, you know, my daughter can watch TV or play while I'm on the bike and I can still be involved and she can ask me questions. Yeah. And I can step off the bike if they need me, you know? So that has been a game changer. I think also finding the time to get out and run a little bit here and there. And the running part doesn't have to be very long. That's the thing. And so
define very long though, because I feel like people might have different perception of very long. I mean, for me, not very long is like half a mile.
Well, we could get you started with 5 minutes, right? So, or you could do a workout that's 10 minutes. Like it's just a matter of getting out there and getting started. And then your perception of running and time it takes to do that workout, it actually changes as you evolve as an athlete and as you improve. And you just, little by little, you actually just find the time or you make the time to fit. Like if you know, okay, I have a 45-minute run. Look at your day, you plan it out, you know that you're going to get sweaty, you're going to have to like eat a little bit after, So you kind of take that into the timing of it, and you figure out where is that going to fit within your day. But also you don't need to be doing like 3 workouts a day. So a lot of times if people are doing too many workouts a day, a lot of it is just filled with fluff. And you don't really need to waste your time on fluff. Like, we need to spend the time that you actually have and make it very specific, very targeted workouts that you're going to get the most benefit out of.
What about safety? Talk to me a little bit about that, because that's another concern for me, like especially on the bike. As a new biker, like I still don't know how to put my shoes on a bike.
Yeah.
Like with like the thought of like biking with like bunch of people like around me is like terrifying.
Yeah.
And like crashing, falling.
Right.
I mean, I'm a mom, so it's like God forbid I like injure myself.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen to my kids? I mean, like obviously, like my husband's gonna like help, but like
you need to be safe.
It's a very terrifying thought.
I get that. So number 1 is safety on the road. So learning all of the different arm signals and being aware of the cars on the road and making sure that you are staying on your kind of on the shoulder. Just being aware of the traffic around you. And if it is a high trafficked area, and if it is like 5 p.m., I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Like, I would go on the trainer. I'd do an interval workout on the trainer, but if it's a early weekend morning at 7 a.m. on a Sunday, like, people are not out and about at that time. So it's a little bit safer to get out on the road at that point. Riding in a group of people can actually be safety in numbers when it comes to the road, but you also have to know who you're riding with and be comfortable with who you're riding with. Being aware of one little tip I tell people when you're riding with others: watch the person ahead of you. Don't watch their legs spinning. Watch their hips, because that is going to tell your body subconsciously, okay, something's going on. They're moving over this way. Or based on their hips, you can tell when they've stopped pedaling. Are they starting to brake? So looking at their hips and not necessarily at their legs can tell you a little bit more about what they're going to do, just intuitively.
Yeah. What about in a race environment?
In a race environment, there are drafting restrictions. So you're not allowed to be close to someone when you're racing. You always have to say, call out ahead of time, passing on your left, on your left, on your left, if you're passing someone, and listen for someone saying that too. That's why we're not allowed to wear like earbuds or anything like that. It's a safety issue. So listen for others, communicate with others, tell people, I'm turning right. You don't want to use your right hand because you brake with your right hand, so you actually have to raise your left hand up. But a lot of people don't really know that rule. So when you're braking, your rear brake is your right hand. So especially if you have rim brakes like I still do, the rear brake is your right hand. You always want to brake more with your right hand than your left hand. So if you're going to be grabbing for things, have your right hand on the bike, grab for things with your left hand. Because if you needed to brake shortly and you brake with your left, that's your front. You are going to endo, like that means roll over, and like kind of the back wheel pops up.
Never thought about that.
Yeah. So that's the main safety rule for that. So there's a couple of different tidbits in there. But there's so much to cycling.
I know. And I think like for me, like and I think just generally speaking for people, like when like uncertainty is what stops you. Yes. Right? So I feel like I need to like learn a lot, know a lot before I can commit. And I think this is why I've started to do these like bike rides, because I do learn a lot, although I have like a hybrid bike. So I'm not one of those.
It still counts.
But I learn a lot, like to your point about, safety and, passing on the right. I mean, yeah. So it's just like all of that.
And how to climb a hill and how to descend it. And some of those things are intuitive, and your body just needs to get on the bike and go.
Yeah.
You just need to get out there and do it.
What are some of the things that like, if I was to say, okay, and I'm not saying that, so don't hold me accountable.
Okay.
If I was to say, like, I am going to do, I mean, sprint, I don't feel like it's going to be challenging enough for me to push me out there to be able to train, because I feel like I could probably train for a couple of weeks and still finish it.
Yeah, you have good base fitness.
But like, let's say like an Olympic, I feel like that could be like a good challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some of, if I was to say today, I am doing the Captex Olympic at the end of May, what are some of the things that I need baseline equipment wise to be able to get this done? Obviously, like, hybrid bike is not going to cut it. So I need
to be competitive.
To be competitive.
Yeah.
But also, like, what are some of the other like little like gadgets that I feel like all the triathletes have?
I'm trying to see I like to carry a lot with me. You don't necessarily need like a big one that has a lot of stuff in it. I just like that. But also, it's got like this little thing here that you can put your your run bib on. Because in triathlon, we're wearing a tri-suit. Tri-suit is one major thing that you need. They will give you a cap, so you don't necessarily need a cap. You need goggles. That's pretty much it for the swim.
To train.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the swim, honestly. Get in the water and swim. And then you come out of the water.
Can I see this?
Yeah, you come out of the water, and then from there, we need to talk about all the cycling gear. So you need the bike. You need your cycling shoes. If you're going to be doing clip in, clip out, like clipless pedals is what they call them. You're going to need to purchase new pedals, put that on your bike. You're going to need to have cycling shoes. You're going to need to have the cleats that come with the pedals, and you have to put that on your cycling shoe. So that's just the shoe itself. You have your tri kit, and then you need a helmet and you need sunglasses. Even if it's raining out, even if it's gloomy out, you still need some sort of eyewear and protection. You've got all this wind coming towards you. You have like random things floating through the air that can just get into your eye, like someone's gotten stung by a bee before in an Ironman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you need protective eyewear. And then those are the main things for the bike. Now, the other thing is like on the back of my bike here, I've got a little pouch that will hold a flat kit. So that has an inner tube and CO2.
So I do need to know how to change my tire before.
Yes, you need to know how to change a flat. Now, if it's a shorter distance race, you may not need to know that per se. It's always good to know. They do have sag like coming around sometimes, but sometimes it takes forever, and then it just means that you're out of the race. So being able to change your flat is good to know. So that's most of the cycling stuff. And then on the run, like grab your hat, grab your sunglasses, grab your running shoes, grab a race belt, and then you're good to go. So
what about nutrition? Like, what are some of the things that I need to bring with me?
Yeah. So nutrition, bringing with you on the course, there's so much. There's so much and there's so little. Like, it depends on what's going to work best for your stomach, but you can use anything from gels. You can use liquid nutrition, which will go into your bottle or like a water bottle or something, and that's carbohydrates mixed with electrolytes. You can do regular electrolyte mix. That's going to be in your water bottles as well for hydration. So you've got gels you could use for solids. You can use anything from like gummy bears or like fruit snacks or anything that's like a high sugary type of food to give you energy. You can do all sorts of stuff. You can do solid bars, like to take down. You can do peanut butter and jelly. Like, you can really take in whatever is going to work for your stomach and for the amount of distance that you're doing and how intense you're going. Thank you so much for joining me, Nina. I think this was really fun today.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I hope this was like at least a little bit beneficial for anybody out there who's trying to get better in swimming or trying to like do their first triathlon like me, but really like getting over like that insecurity like mentally. So hope it was helpful.
Awesome.